I'm going to share a personal story with you. A lot of people ask me, Paul, why do you cut off your family members? And I'm going to share a story from last night. And this isn't to dox that family member. It's because I want to share with you that you're not alone in going through these stories. In September of 2024, my sister passed away. Now, we weren't very close. I still loved her. She was still my sister. When she passed away, I went to her house. I went through her personal things. I have a painting of hers. I have a Beatles record. She was still my sister and I still cared about her, even though we weren't close. I went to her memorial. And then we went out and we spread her ashes in the San Francisco Bay. I was given this. Her ashes. And last night I discovered that these aren't real. They're not. They're fake. So I called my sister this morning. And I said, did you know that there are people that make actually fake cremation ashes? Oh, I didn't know that. So then why did you give them to me? And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. Why did you give me fake ashes of my dead sister? And she said, do you want to know the real answer? I'm like, no, I want you to lie to me again. And she went on this whole diatribe about how it was about protecting my feelings. For a year and a half, her and my nieces and my brother went out, bought fake ashes, and all lied to me. While he spread her ashes in the San Francisco Bay, I'm sitting there like a dumbass, holding a $10 bag of flour from Etsy or eBay or wherever the hell they buy this stuff. And instead of apologizing, she blamed me because I was upset. How do you recover from something like that? That's an issue of trust. You don't just get that back. She didn't apologize. She knew that at some point I was going up to Lake Tahoe and I was going to put her ashes in there knowing they weren't the ashes. And she said, yeah, I know. And I was going to let you do it too. No remorse. Nothing. You can't move forward like that. My mom, as an example, has never met my wife or my kids. She didn't come to my graduation for high school. And the day of my wedding, she flew down from Oregon, visited with my sister and my brother who were getting dressed for my wedding, and then she went back home. I'm sharing this with you because there's a lot of people that have these experiences in life. There was a story that I found relevant. There was two brothers that grew up in the same house. One was very successful and was a loving husband and a loving father. And the other guy was an alcoholic and he abused his children. And this reporter was wondering, how did they turn out so different growing up in the exact same house? And the one brother said, she asked him, how did you come out so successful? And he says, well, my dad was an alcoholic and he used to beat us all the time. And she went and asked the other brother, how did you turn out this way? My dad was an alcoholic and he used to beat us all the time. One brother used his life experience as a stumbling block and the other as a stepping stone. I used my childhood as a stepping stone. My sister and my brother have decided to use it as a stumbling block. They've decided, like my father, is to blame their parents for who they are. When I visited my father, when he was having open heart surgery, and he and I really don't talk a whole lot because he was extremely abusive. And I went out there and he started blaming his dad for who he was today. And I looked at him and I said, when are you going to grow up? You're a grown-ass man. Your dad's been dead for 20 years in the dirt. And you're still blaming him for who you are today. And I said, I love you and I forgive you, but I cannot be around you. Why? And this is what people don't understand. When you grow up in an abusive home, it usually takes 2 to 3 generations to break that cycle. I told my dad, if I allow you around my children and you treat them the way that you treated me, it's not your fault. It's mine because I know what you are. I know who you are, and I know how you will treat them. That's how you stop the cycle. You have to do the uncomfortable thing. And sometimes there is no way. Sometimes there is no common ground. There is no, hey, I'm sorry, bro. When people do something like this, telling you that your sister is in here, it's a bunch of crap, some flower or something like that. It says that I don't care about you, that I don't love you. So this is to help people understand sometimes you cannot just agree to disagree. You have to just, sometimes you got to cut the cancer out. If you continue to stay in an abusive relationship where people lie to you and they deceive you, this is what happens. It ferments and it goes down to me and my kids and my family and their kids. And sometimes you have to cut it off. And it sucks for people like me and people that watch this that can relate to this because it hurts. It does. It sucks. I would love for my parents to know that I do stuff like this and talk to people. I would love to know that my kids are going to college. But you know what? For their best interests and to break the cycle, I choose to use my childhood as a stepping stone. You are not alone. And it sucks. Sometimes there's no other way. I wish there was. Sometimes there's just not. So when people ask, why do you have to cut off your family sometimes? This is why. This is disgusting. It's deplorable that I was given flour instead of my sister's remains. You cannot come back from everything. Sometimes you got to do what's best for yourself. I hope that helps. If one person can listen to this and relate to it in any way, then it was worth making this video. Have a good day.